Hello.
Hi, fourth graders and everybody who watches our YouTube channel. I'm here with Myla. I get to see her today because we've all been in quarantine for 2 weeks and now it's safe to see her. So Myla is going to help me read the story today. And I also wanted to give a shout out to my little niece who watches me read these stories, Harper. Hi, Harper.
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 Hi, Harper.
Okay. The story we're going to read today, you want to scoot in a little bit, is called The Magic Amber, a Korean Legend. A long time ago, in a simple farmhouse in Korea, there lived a kindly old rice farmer and his wife. The couple was so poor they barely had enough food to keep themselves alive. What little rice they had was given as payment for all their hard work in the fields to their landlord, Lon Po.
One day, the old farmer and his wife found that their supply of rice had dwindled to a mere handful. Alas, we will starve this winter, cried the wife. Let us not think about misfortune, the husband replied as he set the rice pot over a small cracking fire. While the winter winds howled, the warm aroma of cooking rice filled the hut. At last, when the rice was cooked, the husband placed bowls and chopsticks on the table, but just as he and his wife were about to begin their meal, there came a soft tapping at the door. The old man needed all his strength to keep the fierce winds from blowing open the door. Slowly, a shivering, snow-covered figure entered the couple's home. It was an old woman, blue with cold. Yeah, I did pretty good.
I'm sorry to bother you, the old woman stammered as she sat down on a straw mat. It was no trouble, stranger, the old man said as he wrapped her trembling shoulders in a warm blanket. You must be hungry. We have little to eat, but what little we have we will share with you. At once the stranger dipped into the pot and began to eat the rice. She ate so quickly that before the couple could stop her, all the rice was gone. Satisfied, the stranger rose to her feet and bowed deeply to her generous host. Thank you, the old woman said. You have given me strength to continue on my journey. Now I must repay you for your kindness. With that, she took a brightly colored amber stone from a small pouch on her side and placed it in the old man's hands. Many blessings on your house, said the old woman. She closed the door behind her and was swallowed up by the night.
A stone, cried the wife. Oh, my husband, we cannot eat a stone. We will surely starve now. As the old man tossed the stone into the rice pot, its hollow sound reminded him of the ache in his own empty belly. Let us not think of only our stomachs, said the husband. At least we have a house to keep us warm. Tomorrow I will ask Lon Po if he can spare a little more rice for us. Now come along, my old and faithful wife. Let us rest.
The next morning, the road to Lon Po's house was covered with snow from the stormy night. At last, the old man stood before the gate of Lon Po's house. The servant brought him to the breakfast table. The old man's stomach churned as he saw all the food, yet he bowed humbly and made his simple request for a small bag of rice. So you wish to have even more rice, said Lon Po as he sipped his tea. Perhaps your wife is wasting food, and that is why you are without. But I am a generous man. I will give you a bag of rice. But you must repay me with 3 bags from your next harvest. You are most kind, Lon Po, said the old man. It shall be as you say, and he hurried home through the snow, holding onto the rice bag tightly. A small fire warmed the hut as the old man brought forth the bag of rice and told his wife the price of Lon Po's kindness. 3 bags? How can we ever repay him when we barely have enough to feed ourselves?" cried the old woman. "Wife, we must be thankful we have enough food for the winter," said the old farmer. "Besides, I am sure you will think differently after your stomach is full." The old man stirred the embers of the fire and added a few sticks of wood to make a small blaze. His wife went to lifting the rice pot and filling it with water. "Oh, my husband," groaned the old woman, "I must be weak from hunger. This rice pot is too heavy for me to move." "I, too, must be weak," gasped the old man as he tried to lift the pot.
Together the old couple sat on the floor with their little rice pot and lifted the lid to peek inside. Their amazement. The pot was brimming with rice. As they poured out the rice, the amber stone tumbled out. The old man looked curiously at the amber and placed it back into the rice pot. Again, the pot was filled with rice. 3 times the old man placed the stone into the pot, and 3 times the pot was filled overflowing. "We have been blessed," the old man explained. Not only did the couple eat well that day, but for the remainder that winter as well. In time, they began to sell rice that magic amber provided and became
Prosperous.
Their rice was known as the best tasting in all lands.
Even with their new wealth, the couple remembered their days of hunger and always gave to those in need. They would take bags of rice to families of village fishermen whose nets came back empty. A bag of rice would quietly be given to a woodcutter's family when he became ill. Everyone in the village knew who brought the gifts. The old couple was respected and honored for their generosity. Occasionally, a fisherman would bring them a fine fish in gratitude, or a basket of fresh vegetables would appear on their doorstep. The old couple accepted these gifts with quiet smiles and never turned away anyone in need.
Soon news of the couple's good fortune spread far and wide. Eventually, it reached the ears of Lon Po. "So it would seem that the old rice farmer's luck has changed," said Lon Po. "Perhaps it's time to pay the old man a visit and collect on a
Debt.
Debt? Okay. With a long strides, Lon Po came to the house of the old farmer and his wife and pounded on the floor. "I demand the 3 bags of rice that you owe me from last winter," he shouted.
Honorable
"Honorable Longpo," said the old woman. "Although our agreement was to repay you from the next harvest, it shall be as you wish. Please come and rest from your long journey, and I will pay you what I owe." "Very well," said Longpo. "I will have some of your tea. While you fill my 3 rice bags." The old man began to fill Lon Po's rice bags, while his wife prepared a pot of
ginseng
tea. Lon Po watched as the old man took a shiny amber stone from a hidden shelf and dropped it into an old rice pot. To his amazement, the pot filled with rice, and the old man filled Lon Po's rice bag to overflowing. "Oh, so that's the old man's secret," thought Lon Po. He gathered his 3 rice bags and excused himself
hurriedly,
leaving the old couple with their pot and a
ginseng
tea.
The very next day, a ragged beggar came to the old couple's door. Perhaps I might do some small tasks around your house in exchange for a bowl of rice, he said. Not wanting to rob him of his dignity, the couple allowed the beggar to sweep the few rice kernels from their back room after he had eaten. When the last speck of rice was picked up, the beggar reappeared and thanked the old couple for their kindness. Then he disappeared as mysteriously as he arrived. The next time the old man went to his rice pot, all he found was an amber stone rattling around at the bottom. Again he placed the stone into the pot. Again the pot remained empty. "Wife, wife, something is wrong," he cried. "The stone has lost its magic. The gods must be angry with us." The old woman took the amber in her hand and studied it. "This is not our magic amber," she said at last. "It is darker in color and has many impurities. Someone has stolen our magic amber and replaced it with this ordinary stone." The couple stared at each other. "The beggar!" they exclaimed.
Meanwhile, at the edge of the village, near a wide river that flowed to the sea, Lon Po quickly removed the ragged beggar's clothes he was wearing. "Enough of this," he said impatiently as he stuffed the rags into the hollow of a nearby tree. "With this amber stone, I shall become the wealthiest man in the country." He looked hungrily at the gleaming stone in his hand, then thrusted it into his pocket and started across the river in a narrow wooden boat. But Lon Po had never paddled a boat before. He struggled against the current, turning of the boat this way and that. Suddenly the boat went on way while Lon Po went the other. The river was strong. Lon Po was swept downstream and as he struggled for shore. At last this was able to pull himself into the river bank, coughing and sputtering. At last, "I'm still alive and rich," he said to himself as he reached into his pocket for the amber stone. But the stone was gone, swallowed up by the river whose waters flowed to the sea. Lon Po lay on the muddy bank of the river and wept bitter tears.
With the amber stone gone and their supply of rice dwindling, the old couple was once again forced to work in the fields. The labor seemed twice as hard, for their bodies creaked with age. But the people in the village never forgot the old couple's generosity. They continued to bring them fresh fish and baskets of their finest vegetables. Still, the old couple missed the charmed days they had once shared with others. One day, a fisherman left a large catfish for their dinner. "The people have been so kind to us in our old age," said the old woman as she laid the fish out to clean. "I wish there was a way we could bless them as we once did." "You are right, cherished wife," said the man, "but we should be thankful for this fine catfish will be joining us for dinner." Just then the old woman's knife struck something in the belly of the fish. "What's this?" she said as she pulled out a hard round object, and there in her hand was a shiny amber stone, the kind a fish might pick up from the bottom of the river as it flowed to the sea. The end. So Myla, tell me what you think the moral of the story was.
If you have your belonging and someone else took it, you shouldn't always get it, because that's your lesson. If you take it, then you might not always get it.
If you take something that doesn't belong to you, it might not always turn out well. But for the old fisherman and his wife, they always were giving to other people, and good things came back to them. When they helped the old woman who was shivering in the cold and was so hungry, she gave them the magic stone, and so they ended up reaping the benefits of having all this food that they could then share with others. So the moral of the story is, the more we do good for others, the more good things will come back to us. Yep. And in Myla's class, and in my class, they sing a song in 2nd grade about wishing you well. But in 4th grade, we just put our hands on our hearts when we want to wish well, and we say, you can do it with me? We wish you well. Until next time, we'll see you next time at Studio